Hi everyone, I'm Bryton and welcome to Food and Literature. Today we're making an Indian sweet called Jalebi from the book The 100-Foot Journey. Now this book has been transformed into a movie. I had a little sneak peek this past week and it is very well worth watching. But it's also very different from the book. Now it's not mentioned in the movie, but in the book the family goes to London for a while and the main character, Hassan, gets a job pushing a food cart. And on this food cart they sell that Indian sweet called Jalebi. We've never done it before, so we're going to cross our fingers and just hope it works out. Now, this is going to take a while because you need to make the first part and let it sit for a few hours before you deep fry it. But what you're going to need for the first part is 1 cup of plain flour, 2 tablespoons of rice flour, 1 cup of natural yogurt, and 250 ml of water. And to color, you're either going to need saffron threads, or if that's too expensive or you don't have it on hand, just a pinch of turmeric as well does the trick. So this next part's really easy. All you have to do is take all these ingredients and pop them into the mixer. I'm gonna pour in the water little bit by little bit. Now what we're going to do is set this aside for just a few hours, not in the fridge, just room temperature. Just wrap some plastic over it as well. What you've got is just like a pancake batter really. Alright, so we've just had this sit for a few hours and what it's done is basically let the yogurt ferment. Now before we go and start deep frying this, there's a syrup that it has to soak in once it comes out of the oil. So we're going to make that syrup first. So what you're going to need is 1 cup of white sugar, half a cup of water, half a teaspoon of cardamom, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 1 teaspoon of rose water, and a few saffron threads. So take all your ingredients and just pour them all in. So you've got your white sugar, cardamom, your water, your lime juice, rose water, finally just a few threads of these. So we're going to let this syrup come to a boil and then we're going to reduce it down to a low heat and just let it simmer for a few minutes. Now while we're waiting for that, we're going to get the rest of our batter ready to go and get it into one of these squeezy ketchup bottles because it's easier to draw the circles around. Now what we're going to do is take 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 tablespoon of the vegetable oil. Pour that. Really good stir. The last thing you want is a mouthful of baking powder. Pour this in. Just pour that in. And you'll just keep that mess contained. Now before we get going, I'm going to grab a tray. That way when I pull the deep fried batter out, it's got some place to go. So here we go. That's ready to go. And it looks like our syrup is pretty much done. That's what we're going to do. Set the syrup here. Normally you'd use a wok or a deep fryer, so I'm going to heat that up. I'm going to take some vegetable oil. You're going to fill about 1/3. I've also got some tongs so I can grab and turn. Alright, so we've just popped a little piece of bread in just to test and it's all ready. So basically you're going to take your batter and you're just going to swirl it into circles. You have to be careful of the temperature from time to time because it can get a little too dark. All you have to do is just lower the temperature and just give it a moment or two to cool down before you start putting in your next batch. So there we go. That is jalebi.